Billionaire father disguises as poor gatekeeper to test son's fiancée. Her reaction left him in tears. The sprawling estate sat like a jewel atop the hill. Marble columns, manicured gardens, fountains that danced to classical music, and gates forged from iron and gold leaf. To the world, it was the home of Marcus Langford, self-made billionaire, tech titan, and one of the most powerful men on the planet. But today, Marcus wasn't wearing his Armani suit or his Rolex. Today, he wore a threadbare security uniform, scuffed boots, and a cap pulled low over his eyes. He stood at the front gate, the same gate he'd walked through 1,000 times as master of the house, now pretending to be Harold, the new, elderly, poorly paid gatekeeper. Why? Because his only son, Daniel, brilliant, kind, the light of his life, was engaged, and the woman he'd chosen, Celeste Moreau, beautiful, charming, Ivy League educated, and according to whispers Marcus couldn't ignore, dangerously gold-digging. Marcus had seen it before. The social climbers, the sugar-coated vipers who smiled at his money more than his son. He'd lost his wife 10 years ago. Daniel was all he had left, and he refused to let some socialite break his boy's heart for a trust fund and a penthouse view. So he hatched a plan, a test, not of wealth, not of status, but of character. The morning sun beat down as Marcus, now Harold, fiddled with the gate controls, pretending to struggle. His hands, once used to signing billion-dollar deals, now fumbled with rusted levers. He'd practiced the limp, the cough, the weary sigh of a man who'd worked too long for too little. Daniel had texted earlier, "Celeste's coming over today to meet you officially. Be nice, Dad. She's nervous." Marcus grunted. Let her be nervous. Let her show her true colors. At precisely 2:17 p.m., a sleek white convertible purred up the driveway. Out stepped Celeste, designer sunglasses, silk dress that probably cost more than Harold's annual salary, heels that clicked like a metronome of entitlement. She didn't even glance at the gatekeeper. "Open the gate," she said, not unkindly, but with the casual authority of someone used to being obeyed. "Yes, miss," Marcus stammered in his best shaky old man voice. He moved slowly, deliberately. The gate creaked, too slow for her taste. She tapped her foot, checked her diamond-studded watch. "Honestly," she muttered under her breath, "you'd think they'd upgrade the staff around here." Marcus's heart sank. Here we go. He finally got the gate open. She breezed past him without a thank you, heading toward the main house. But then she stopped, turned, walked back. Marcus braced himself. Instead of kindness, her eyes narrowed. "You're new, aren't you?" she asked, voice laced with suspicion. Yes, miss. Started last week." She studied him, his stained uniform, his worn shoes, the gray stubble he hadn't shaved in 3 days for the role. "Did Mr. Langford hire you?" "Yes, miss. Directly." Her lips curled. He must be cutting corners. My fiancé's father has always had standards." She reached into her designer handbag and pulled out a chilled bottle of sparkling water, took a sip. Then, without warning, she flicked the rest of it at him. It splashed across his chest and face. "Oops," she said, not sounding sorry at all. "You look thirsty. Consider it a tip." Marcus stood frozen. Water dripped from his nose, his fists clenched inside his pockets. He wanted to roar, to tear off the cap and shout, "I own this estate. I built this empire, and you just threw water on me." But he didn't. He bowed his head. "Thank you, miss." She smirked. "See that you learn to move faster next time. Daniel's father won't tolerate incompetence." And with that, she strutted away. Marcus stood there, soaked, humiliated, heartbroken, not for himself, but for his son. "Daniel, what have you gotten yourself into?" Inside the mansion, Marcus changed back into his usual attire, charcoal suit, polished shoes, cufflinks worth more than most cars. He waited in his study, staring out the window, watching Celeste laugh with Daniel in the garden. She was radiant, charming, the perfect picture of a future daughter-in-law. But Marcus had seen the monster behind the mask. He called Daniel in. "Son," he said quietly, "sit down." Daniel, ever the optimist, grinned. "Dad, you're gonna love Celeste. She's amazing, smart, funny, kind." Marcus interrupted, voice low. "Did she seem kind to the gatekeeper today?" Daniel blinked. "Harold, I didn't see her interact with him." "Why?" Marcus took a deep breath. Then he told him everything. The slow gate, the muttered insult, the water thrown in his face, the condescension, the cruelty. Daniel's face fell. "No, Dad, that can't be right. Celeste isn't like that. She volunteers at shelters. She donates to charity. People can act, Daniel." Marcus said gently, especially when there's $1 billion on the table. Daniel looked torn, confused, heartbroken already. I need to see for myself, he whispered. The next day, Marcus, still as Harold, was back at the gate. Daniel, unbeknownst to Celeste, was watching from a hidden camera feed inside the security room. Celeste arrived again. Same car, same outfit, same aura of untouchable elegance. She rolled down her window. Open the gate. Each word clipped. Impatient. Marcus fumbled again. Slower this time. She groaned. Unbelievable. Are you deliberately trying to ruin my day? I'm sorry, miss. My hands, arthritis, you see. Ugh. She grabbed her water bottle again. This time, a full one. Here, maybe this'll lubricate your joints. She threw it. Hard, it hit Marcus square in the chest and exploded, soaking his shirt, his face, his cap. Daniel, watching from the monitor, gasped. But then something unexpected happened. Celeste didn't drive off. She stepped out of the car, walked toward him. Marcus braced for another insult. Instead, she knelt. Right there, in the dirt, in her designer dress. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Marcus froze. What? He croaked. Tears welled in her eyes. Real ones. I've been horrible to you, and I don't know why I thought that it was okay. She pulled a handkerchief from her purse, silk, monogrammed, and gently dabbed at his soaked uniform. You didn't deserve that. No one does. Marcus was stunned. I don't understand. She looked up at him, eyes glistening. My father, he was a gatekeeper too, at a country club, worked 12-hour shifts. People treated him like dirt, like he was invisible, and I swore I'd never be like them. Her voice cracked. But somewhere along the way, I became the very thing I hated. Marcus didn't speak. He couldn't. I'm engaged to Daniel Langford, she continued. His father is one of the richest men in the world, and I let that get to my head. I thought acting elite would make me belong, but all it did was turn me into a monster. She stood, brushing dirt off her knees. I don't expect forgiveness, but I'm going to apologize to you every day until you believe I've changed, and I'm going to tell Daniel the truth, that I acted like a spoiled brat, and if he calls off the wedding, I'll understand. She turned to leave. Wait, Marcus said, his real voice slipping out for just a second. She turned back. He cleared his throat, reverting to Harold's Rav. Miss, why are you marrying his son? She smiled sadly. Because I love him. Not his money, not his name. Him. The way he laughs at bad jokes, how he cries during dog commercials, how he stays up all night helping strangers on coding forums. She sighed. I just lost my way, trying to impress his world. Marcus's eyes burned. Thank you, he whispered. She nodded. And I'm sorry, truly. That evening, Marcus called Daniel and Celeste into the grand parlor. Celeste walked in, head held high, but eyes full of regret. Daniel, Marcus began, I owe you both an apology. Daniel frowned. Dad, Marcus stood, took off his suit jacket, rolled up his sleeves, revealing faint water stains still clinging to his undershirt. I was the gatekeeper. Silence. Celeste's jaw dropped. But why? To test you, Marcus admitted. I've been burned before. I couldn't risk my son's heart. Celeste's face flushed with shame. And I failed. Miserably. I treated you horribly. I have no excuse. Marcus walked toward her, stopped inches away. You didn't fail, he said softly. You stumbled. And then you got back up. You saw your mistake. You owned it. You apologized. Not for show, but from the soul. He turned to Daniel. Son, I've spent my life building empires. But today, I witnessed something far more valuable. Redemption. Celeste burst into tears. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Marcus pulled her into a hug. Yes, he whispered. You do. The wedding was held 3 months later, not in a cathedral or a 5-star resort, but in the mansion's garden beneath the same oak tree where Daniel proposed. Marcus walked Celeste down the aisle, not as a billionaire, but as a father, and at the reception, when the toasts began, Celeste stood, glass in hand. I want to thank Harold, she said, smiling through tears. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you reminded me that kindness isn't about who you are, it's about how you treat those who can do nothing for you. The crowd applauded. Marcus, seated at the head table, wiped his eyes. Later that night, as fireworks lit up the sky, Daniel pulled his father aside. You knew she'd come around, didn't you? Marcus chuckled. No, son, I didn't. I was ready to hate her forever. But life has a funny way of humbling us all. Daniel grinned. Best test ever. Marcus clapped him on the shoulder. Best daughter-in-law ever. Celeste started a foundation, the Gatekeeper project. dedicated to supporting low-wage service workers with education, health care, and dignity. Marcus funded it anonymously until she found out and made him take public credit. They say the first donation came with a note to the woman who saw the man behind the uniform and chose to see the humanity instead. You passed the real test. Harold, and every year on their anniversary, Celeste leaves a chilled bottle of water, unopened at the mansion gates, with a note for Harold. This time it's yours to keep. If you were moved by this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear that true character is revealed not in how we treat the powerful, but how we treat the powerless. Drop a comment below. What would you have done in Celeste's shoes? And remember, sometimes the greatest wealth isn't in your bank account, it's in your heart. Stay kind, stay humble, and never underestimate the gatekeeper. Thanks for watching.